Hey everyone, Macca here and welcome to another video. Recently I hit 800,000 Gamerscore, and as is tradition on this channel, I am making a video to commemorate the milestone. This is a multiple part series in a way, as there are 12 videos that detail my journey from 0 Gamerscore to 700,000 Gamerscore, and then this video will detail the last 100,000 that I have achieved. Now, the last video was in November of 2020, so I have gotten 100,000 Gamerscore in the last 9 months or so. This video will likely be an hour or longer, so get comfy, relax, and grab a drink, and hopefully you enjoy. Additionally, feel free to follow me on Xbox Live. You can keep up with whatever games I'm playing and just see whenever I'm doing stuff on Xbox if you so desire. I did actually stream my milestone, as I always do. You can catch the live stream on youtube.com/Macca91productions. It was the video before this one. I'll also try to leave a link down below. Now, when I make these videos, I get a lot of criticism, which most of it is actually justified. I do play a lot of easy games. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, and no denying it, but I've also completed a lot of hard games, in my opinion, recently, and I'm pretty excited to go through them. Hopefully you have a good time. But my YouTube channel is always going to be my #1 priority, and because of that, sometimes when I'm making a video, I have to move on to the next game before I can complete a game, so sometimes the really long games I don't end up completing. Also, for the Gamerscore leaderboard, I'm doing all right, but I got some friends absolutely destroying me this month. Let's just get started. The first game on my list is 12 minutes. I have 0 Gamerscore, but I did just launch it because it did just come out. I'll have a video guide for this once it's available, but I don't really have anything to say until then. Now, the game I used to reach 800,000 is Death's Door. We do have the 1,000 out of 1,000 completion. This is a phenomenal game that'll run you around $20, and the completion will run you between 10 and 15 hours, in my opinion. And it is a little bit difficult. You have to complete the game. You have to get 100%. You'll definitely need some guides along the way. And the last achievement I had to get was the Umbrella Run. Basically, the Umbrella is a weapon that does half the damage of all of the other weapons in the game. So it's basically like you're playing the game on hard mode. And that was the achievement I used last night in order to wrap up the game. So I'm pretty happy to get that one done. I will talk about TA a lot. If I ever mention TA, it's trueachievements.com. It's a really good website if you're into achievements. There's also a PlayStation version if you're into trophies. But if I ever mention TA, I'm talking about True Achievements. You can make a account and look at all the stats there. But this game has a somewhat low TA score, and it's because you can actually play this game for 10 hours and only get like 1 achievement. So it just has a low amount of players because of that. So the actual True Achievement score tends to skew down. Anyways, before we get carried away, the next game on my list is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. What a long title. This is a game that we'll see how long it says I played it for. It says I played it for about 14 hours, which I think is pretty accurate. I had to beat the game about 3 times. You do have to do all the missions on Veteran, but all of the Modern Warfare games have a Veteran glitch that you can actually play about 90% of the game on Recruit, and then you just have to do like the last checkpoint of every chapter on Veteran. There's a bunch of miscellaneous achievements, a bunch of things, collectibles. I have a guide for that. And one of the harder achievements is up here near the top. One of the last ones I got here is actually for completing the game, completing every mission of the game without dying or reloading a checkpoint. So you basically have to complete every mission from back to front, one by one, not in order, but you have to do each mission without dying. And it's a little wonky in terms of when it counts and when it doesn't, so that's why I had to play the game basically 3 times. And we finished off with the Don't Ring a Bell achievement, which I thought was just a good way to show the game on stream last night. Another really great completion I'm pretty proud of, Second Extinction. It is a game preview game, but there is 1,000 Gamerscore. It says that I've played it for around 20 hours, which I think is a realistic, good approximation. There's a lot of grinding stuff like killing 6,000 enemies. This is a dinosaur, first-person shooter, dinosaur kind of game. It is in-game preview, but it's a pretty solid game, although the campaign isn't as fleshed out as it could be. You'll have to respawn 100 times, deploy 100 times, kill a lot of enemies. There is also this achievement, which I believe currently does not work because I think they got rid of the night mode. in the game while they're tweaking it, so hopefully that comes back. The only kind of skill-based achievement, in my opinion, is this, which is for killing a T-Rex with a supply drop, which can be pretty difficult and could take you a couple of hours if you don't get it on your first try. And otherwise, you're just beating the campaign and getting a bunch of baddies. You can level up your characters, level up your weapons. It's actually a pretty fun game, and I hope they keep working on it and making it better and better. It's a pretty rare completion. Not a lot of people have done it. Next up, we have Tetris Effect Connected. Love me some Tetris. I'm at 820 out of 1,000, missing 4 achievements. The stats, that it says like 80 hours, but that's not really true because you can idle the game for XP and stuff. But I do have a lot of really tough, really hard achievements. For example, that one's not that hard. This 15 combo was really difficult. It took me a lot of attempts and tries. 18 line clears in a single zone visit, also pretty tough. But I am missing 4 achievements. I think I could probably get this one done, but these other 3 are pretty much impossible for me because they are heavily reliant on your skill. And although I think I'm pretty good at Tetris, I am not a god by any means. Call of the Sea, you may be wondering why this game is so high on my list, as I did make a video guide for this. But I actually made a video guide on another account, and therefore I didn't actually get a chance to beat it on my main account. So I only did a couple of achievements in 2020, and then I decided to revisit. I basically got to use my own achievement guide for this game, and in about 3 hours, I wrapped up all the achievements. And then in the stream last night, I was able to just replay a level, pop the 1,000, uninstall it, and good to go. Call of the Sea is a fun game. I would recommend it. It's a first-person puzzle game. It is a little bit dense. Some of the puzzles are a little bit too complicated, in my opinion. But overall, it's a good time, and you can enjoy it. Super Destruct Dx2, it's like a Galaga Space Invaders type game. Easy Gamerscore game that you can get done in probably around 30 minutes, although maybe it does involve a little bit more skill than some of the other games we'll talk about. Akinofa, this game just recently came out, another Easy 1000 game that I did on stream. I think it took me around 20-25 minutes. You'll need to just play through the game a couple times, beat the first level a couple times, grab some gold coins, buy some upgrades, and you'll be done before you know it. Bullet Beat, it has 4,000 available. I did the last 1,000 during the stream. I've not really been keeping up with a lot of these title update games because I think they're honestly pretty bad and not really worth the time and effort. Although the Gamerscore you get from them is great, it kind of defeats the purpose of Gamerscore for me personally. But Bullet Beat, we got 1,000 in like a couple minutes last night, and then we moved on. Infestor, 1,000 out of 1,000. This is another easy game that can be done in probably around 45 minutes. It's a side-scrolling platformer, and it's actually not bad. It has some pretty good music, but it's also not that unique or different really in any way. Colorful Color, which is just the peak of creativity when it comes to naming your game. This is a game where you control a little block around a level in like 2D space. It's a bit of a puzzle game. But you can follow a guide and complete it in under 10 minutes. And you can follow a text guide and just basically use the inputs in the guide to put them in on your controller, and you'll be done before you know it. No Thing, one of the easiest games of 2021 so far. You can just skip the first 10 levels and get all these achievements in literally 15 seconds. And then after 5 minutes, you can do a little bit of a glitch for these last 2, and you'll be done in a matter of minutes. I have a video for that as well. And we just got the little glitch there where everything went to 0, so we're gonna have to restart our list a little bit here. Oh no, that's very bad news. Let's try to see if we can fix it. If not, I might have to restart the console, or we just encounter... There we go. Cool. Sorry about that. That happens sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't fix itself. So, crisis averted. Sniper Elite V2 Remastered. I just got one achievement recently because I needed a specific amount of Gamerscore in order to hit my milestone, and it seemed like this game was kind of the easiest way to do that. I might go back and revisit this game. I'll never get 1,000, but there are some achievements I did intend on going back for. It's a fine game, but it hasn't aged particularly well. Dirt Rally 2, a game I am a giant fan of. I highly encourage you to try this game. I think it's on Game Pass. It might not be, but it is a great time, and that's for sure. It is a very hardcore racing game, though, so for that reason, some people may not really enjoy it. I do only have 1,020 out of 1,500. There's a lot of DLC as well, but I also have a bunch of achievements that are like on the verge of unlocking. I was basically just preloading them just in case I needed them. So we have a couple of achievements that are really, really close, and I also have a couple of like tournaments that I'm pretty close to finishing for a couple of these other achievements. But Dirt Rally is a phenomenal game. I think it's one of the best racing games that's not a Forza game I've ever played. It probably is the best racing game that's not a Forza game I've ever played, and I really enjoy going back to it. It's one of the only games that still makes my heart race and my palms sweaty when I play it every time. Spectrum Retreat, I needed 50 Gamerscore so the math would work for my milestone, and I picked Spectrum Retreat as that game. I need to go back and play this game. I can easily get 1,000. It only takes like an hour and a half following a solution guide, but I just never went back to it because I think it ran really poorly on the old consoles. I think it's been updated and it works fine on the Series X, but I never beat it on the first attempt, so hopefully I'll beat it soon. Ori and the Will of the Wisps 700. I talked about this game a lot last video, but basically I got these two achievements. Back in like March of 2020, I had left Ori on the last checkpoint of the game because the complete the game achievement was glitched and it didn't work. It's supposed to these two achievements are supposed to basically unlock at the same time. So instead of like beating the game and not getting the achievement, I just left Ori at the last checkpoint. And it's been fixed for a really long time, but I just went back recently to test a screen that I'm looking at, like a new TV, and I wanted to see how Ori looked. So I loaded it up and completed it. Every time we go back, we're like hitting a loading screen now, but we did luckily jump to where we were supposed to be. Omno 21 achievements, a 1,000 gamer score. It says 14 hours, but that is not true at all. This game can be done in about 2 hours. It is on Game Pass, and good news, I have a video coming out for it in the next week, so keep your eyes posted for that. But it doesn't run well on the Series X, which is weird. It actually runs better on the older consoles. But overall, it's like a third-person platforming adventure mystery game where you just kind of explore, find out about like the animals on the planets, some of the, solve some puzzles. It's a pretty fun game. It's not amazing, but it's also probably worth your time if you want to play it. Mlb the Show 21. I'm not going to go into this game, but 670 out of 1,000. This is the first time I've played a baseball game in maybe 20 years, maybe ever. I think I played the Fever Pitch game on the OG Xbox, if I'm not mistaken, which was probably 20 years ago. But this came to Game Pass. It was a big deal. It's a Sony game coming to Xbox. I wanted to try it. It was Series X enhanced. It had great graphics, and I'm not a big baseball fan, but I know the rules enough to maybe have some fun. And I did have some fun. I played it for probably 5 to 6 hours, and I probably won't go back and get more gamer score in it, though. Rocket League, 2,200 of 2,200. I've talked about this game a lot, but I had a pretty serious Rocket League addiction in probably like May and June. I played Rocket League every day for a couple hours a day, and you'll see how many hours I have in it if we can load it up here. Sorry, I clicked the button too many times, but it's probably like 200-300 hours by now, 12 days, which will bring us to around 300 hours. And those are all legit. I really enjoy Rocket League. I think I am a high platinum in ranked, which is not great. But if you play Rocket League a lot, it's not great. But if you don't play Rocket League a lot like me, I'm pretty proud of that. Battlefield 1943. This is our first game of 2 where there's a giant gap from achievement to achievement. You'll notice that I played 30 games in 2010. And then I played 100 games in 2021. That is a gap of 11 years. And they recently the servers have always been on, but they didn't really have like stat tracking and they weren't dedicated servers. EA recently added Battlefield to Game Pass, and I think they re-enabled the servers and stat tracking. So I believe if you do it right now and don't wait too long, I believe you can get all of these achievements again in Battlefield 1943 in Game Pass. However, as with old games, it does only have 200 gamer score. And again, we have the 0 achievement point glitch, which is going to be really annoying here coming up. Let's see if we can maybe do like a refresh of the home screen and see if that maybe fixes it up. All achievements. Let's see if that helps. It does not. So we're going to maybe have to go into games for a bit here. Splitgate, 650 out of 1,000. Really cool game where it basically combines Halo and Portal. And it's a multiplayer game. It's very competitive. I love competitive games, but it also has a really high skill ceiling. And there are people that just are ungodly at this game. I can definitely get a couple of these achievements left. However, there's this really dumb achievement for winning 1,000 games, which takes a couple hundred hours. And I don't know if I want to go for these other achievements, knowing that I'll probably never get this one. We're going to be sitting in, hopefully, there we go, we got it to work. I'm not going to go into some of these games. Synchro Hedgehogs, awful game, not worth your time or money unless you are a complete Gamerscore addict. You can get 2,000 Gamerscore in like 10 minutes, and I think they're going to update it to 5,000 Gamerscore within a year and a half. But I don't know. Unless you really love Gamerscore, don't waste your money or your time. Grid, cool game. Recently went back to get a quick achievement in it, but I don't really have much to say. I've talked about it in depth in other videos. Dirt 5, in the last video I had 950, but luckily they fixed the glitch that I had with one of the achievements, so I had the 1,000 out of 1,000, and then they added 3 DLC lists, which are worth 200 each, and I did all of those. I think they're about 2 hours, 3 hours to finish each of them. So after another like 6 to 9 hours, I have the 1,600. Dirt 5 isn't like a fantastic game, but I really do enjoy going back to it every couple of months for a couple of hours. I have fun every time I play it. Cowell's Treasure, 1,000 out of 1,000. This was a game I kind of just tested to see how easy it was for a video I was working on. It ended up not really being all that easy. But it's also, like, in terms of the grand scheme of things, it's easy, but it's not as easy as some of the really easy stuff. It's also not a great game either, and I wouldn't recommend it, but I did beat it. I did get 1,000. Reactor X, 4,000 out of 4,000. Nothing to say about that. Last Stop, I did create a video guide for this, 1,000 out of 1,000. Happy to get this one done. I think I was in, like, maybe the top 10 or top 20 on True Achievements to complete it. So I'm kind of proud of that. I also was proud of the video I made so that you can also get 1,000 Gamerscore in this video really easily, in this game really easily, if you follow along with the video and play the game for about 5 hours. It's not like the best game. It's by the people who made Virginia, which I really liked. This game I would say is not as good as Virginia, but it's probably worth trying if you're bored on a weekend. Genesis Noir, I have a video guide on the channel for this game. It's about 2.5 hours long. It's a cool game where you can get all the Gamerscore just by playing it, but it would just take you a lot longer if you just played it normally. It's very unique. It's a point-and-click adventure game about using the universe's creation as a metaphor for your love life, which is like an insane idea, but it actually kind of works out, and I was a fan. Discolored, I wish more games were like Discolored when it came to easy Gamerscore games. 15 minutes, it's a first-person puzzle game, and the reason it's 15 minutes is only if you follow a guide, because if you don't, you would have to play the game normally, and that would take multiple hours. But because it is a puzzle game, you can kind of skip a lot of the puzzles knowing all the answers. It's an actually well-made game. High quality, good graphics. There's like the developer actually tried, and the achievements are easy by their circumstance and by the game being a puzzle game, and not easy because the developer wanted to make extra money selling games to achievement hunters. Space Jam: A New Legacy, the game. This game was free with Game Pass. Well, it's free with Game Pass now, but it was free with Game Pass perks. But it was just a quick and easy game that came out when the movie came out in July. You can get 1,000 Gamerscore in like 3 hours or less, maybe even 2 hours if you're decent and you have some extra controllers. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game, which of all things, you can play as LeBron, Bugs Bunny, or Lola Bunny. Peepaw's Farm, you can get this game done in about 5 minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes if you struggle a little bit, but it is easy Gamerscore. I think it's $5. Video is on the channel, but you just play as a farmer on a farm, and you try to complete all of your like daily tasks, and you're done. Little Mouse's Encyclopedia, I actually really like the concept of this game. It's basically an encyclopedia. I believe it's aimed at like younger children. So obviously it's going to be easy for Gamerscore hunters, but it's essentially like a 2D diorama of a area in the wilderness. So there's like the forest, there's the pond, there's the garden, and you go through all of these locations as a little mouse, and you just click on things. You click on trees, you click on other animals, you click on like, plants and water and all that stuff. And the game just tries to teach you about all of the things in the world, which I think is a really cool idea. And I especially for kids like who want to learn about animals or that excites them, the idea of like an encyclopedia that you can interact with, I think is like a really lovely idea for video games. But it is easy Gamerscore. You can get it done in like 20-30 minutes probably. You don't even really need a guide. Cave Bad, easy Gamerscore. I think it's like 20 minutes, but some of these easy Gamerscore games I literally can't remember because they are all so similar to each other and they are so awful. And you play them for 20 minutes and they are so forgettable. Some of the games like Cave Bad, I couldn't tell you if you showed me 4 screenshots of 8 pixel or 16 pixel game, I couldn't tell you which one was Cave Bad and which one was a different game. Pinkman Plus, I believe this game works like N plus or N plus plus, where you are a little character on like a big screen and you have to navigate to the exit. I believe you can get all the achievements done in about 30 minutes. Going from a easy completion to not an easy completion, we have Knockout City. 1,000 out of 1,000 Gamerscore, 50 achievements. There is the daily contract achievement, which takes like 35 days minimum, because you can only do 3 daily contracts per day. So this game's going to take you a whole month, but then you also have all of these other achievements. Some of them are really easy. Some of them are just time consuming. There aren't too many like skill-based achievements necessarily, although a couple of them are kind of skill-based. And I played this game, according to this counter, for about 85 hours, which is the legit amount I played it for. And I had a really fun 85 hours. Played it a couple hours a day for almost over a full month. Then we have Halo the Master Chief Collection, 4,005 out of 7,000. The most common question I get asked, and the most common question of the stream, I got this question asked like probably 15 times last night, is do you have or are you going to get 7,000 out of 7,000 in Halo the Master Chief Collection? And the answer for the rest of my life will be no. That's not a goal I am necessarily interested in getting. I am a huge fan of Halo. I love the Master Chief Collection. But going for 7,000 Gamerscore in MCC is basically a full-time job, and that is not necessarily a full-time job that I want to have. It requires hundreds of hours, and as much as I love Halo, I can't see myself ever wanting to commit that amount of time just to get a completion in MCC. The Storytale, which, apparently has 2,000 Gamerscore. I did not know this. This game had 1,000 Gamerscore for like a year or even 2 years. So they must have added some title updates, which is kind of unfortunate because I deleted this game and kind of never wanted to play it again. But I guess if you want, you could go back and get another 1,000 Gamerscore. We're going to go into some of the lame games now. There's going to be a little bit of a stretch of some not great games. So we're going to go quick. Horn Knight, I don't remember. I think it's a side scroller. I think it takes about 30 minutes. Dull Gray, interactive visual novel. I think it takes around 20 minutes. Yoki and Yuki, Dr. Rat's Revenge. I think it takes around 30 minutes, but does require you to use in-game cheats. Squad Killer, I believe this game takes around 20 minutes. It's around $5, and it is not good. Cross the Moon, interactive visual novel game, takes around 5 minutes. Not really much else to say. I don't really have opinions about these games because I play them for so little time that I don't even get to fully experience them. And from what I do experience them, what I do experience of them, none of them are good enough to remember. Outriders, 455 out of 1,000, which is a little bit upsetting. I did really want to go for 1,000 out of 1,000. But the problem with this game is I kept getting higher and higher level, and I kept adjusting my difficulty to be harder and harder and harder. but I could just turn the difficulty down like all the way and then breeze through the game. But I had a hard time finding like the right balance between having fun and also making it like hard but easy enough that I didn't feel like it was taking forever. So I ended up like halfway through the campaign, and I didn't get a chance to finish it, although I think I'm like less than 10 hours away from beating it, and I'm probably like 20 hours in. So I feel like I've done all the hard work, and then I just haven't gotten all the rewards that you're supposed to get at the end of the game. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire Ultimate Edition PC. This is a Windows 10 game that you can do in like 10 minutes if you have Game Pass for PC. Mount and Blade Warband PC, another PC Game Pass game that you can get done in about 5 or 10 minutes. Rift Raccoon, 1000 of 1000. I think this game takes like 40 minutes, and it's not great. Crime Opera, The Butterfly Effect, 1000 out of 1000, easiest game of 2021, takes like 3 minutes, and you need 0 skill. It's a visual novel. Resident Evil Village, 955 out of 1000, and this is another really upsetting thing, because I played through Resident Evil. I made a ton of videos. You guys probably, hopefully you know that they exist. You didn't have to watch them, but hopefully you know they existed. So I spent a lot of time going through the campaign. I streamed myself doing like the speed run and the knife run and the hard difficulty run. And then I decided, these last 2 achievements, I decided to leave these for my Milestone stream. I figured that I would just do 7 of the 8 levels and leave the last level for this achievement, or rather this achievement. I figured I would do the last level on stream and we'd get the 1000 out of 1000. But then I realized that there's a lot of like skill involved in this achievement, and having it on stream was kind of a big risk, because there was a chance that I just wasn't able to beat the last level during the stream, especially if I like forgot the controls or forgot the aiming sensitivity of the game. So I ended up making a last minute decision not to include it in my Milestone stream out of fear that it would take like 2 hours potentially if I failed a couple of times. And now thinking about it, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to Resident Evil Village to actually finish this achievement, but this is a game I really wanted 1000 Gamerscore in. So that's why maybe I'm a little bit sad about it, let's say. Apex 1000 of 1000. I don't remember if they added a new map, new weapon, new hero, or if I was just playing with the girlfriend. So I recently loaded up this game, but I only played for like an hour or 2. Zombie Army 4 Dead War. I got the original 1000, then it went to up to 1100, so I got all of that done, and then literally like the day after I had 1100 out of 1100, they updated the game and added a new achievement for redoing the entire campaign on the hardest difficulty, which is like 6 hours long, and it was worth like 20 Gamerscore, so I decided I just uninstalled the game and moved on. Rain on Your Parade was an easy 1000 in Game Pass, but they updated it in order to remove some of the exploits that you could use. So it went from like a 2-hour completion to realistically like a 5-hour completion. And it also went from like a 3 out of 10 difficulty to like a 6 out of 10 difficulty. It is still on Game Pass. It is a pretty good game, but it isn't the easiest to beat. Full Throttle Remastered, 1000 to 1000. I have a guide on the channel. I think it's around 2 hours long, which you can follow in order to get as well. This is a classic point and click adventure game by Tim Schafer. I think this game's like 30 years old. I think it came out in the 80s, so it's definitely at least 30 years old, older than me. So you can experience a little bit of video game history. Now, the best games I've played this year so far, in no particular order, are It Takes Two, Death's Door, Hitman, and Resident Evil Village. But It Takes Two, out of all those games, was by far the biggest surprise by a million miles. This game is so incredibly good, and I highly recommend it. If you haven't played it, it is worth every dollar. I think it's a $40 game. It is worth every dollar and every minute you play it. I have a lot more hours than it. It doesn't actually take 16 hours. It takes like maybe 6 to 8 hours. Maybe 10 hours we'll go with. But it is an amazing experience from the minute you start to the minute you finish. A lot of the achievements are missable, so you'll need a guide. I have one on the channel, but it is a co-op only game. You'll need to either play it in local co-op or online with a friend. And if you both want achievements, you will both need to own it. However, there is something called the Friend Pass, so you can both play without both buying it, but only the person who owns it will get achievements in the game. Then we have Doom Eternal. I have pretty much everything except for the Extra Lives achievement in the first DLC. Because I film guides for this game, I end up playing all of the levels like 3 times, but I also play all of the levels in a way where I don't end up being in Extra Life mode. So by the time I spend like 6 hours per level getting the strat down, recording, filming, uploading, making the thumbnail and everything, I end up just being so sick of Doom Eternal. It's an amazing game and I love it. But just imagine having to play it 3 times, playing every level 3 times in a row before you can move on. And welcome to my special and unique hell. I like that pun. Of playing Doom Eternal. That's why I just don't go back for the Extra Life mode. I've had enough. But I will go back, and this game is Series X enhanced now, so I really want to try it 4K 60 FPS, if not 4K 120, but I really want to go back and try it. We're around 30 minutes of the way through the video now, and there is a little bit of a secret message that we've done in every single video like this. And if you know the secret message, you can type it in the YouTube comments already. But if you don't know what it is, it's just the word boobies. You just write it, comment it. You can leave an emoji. You can spell it in a unique way if you want. You can use 8008135 if you want to be cool. But just leave a comment called boobies, and that lets me know that people have actually made it halfway through the video. Because when I originally started this series, I just imagined it was like super boring to watch. So as a little bit of a test, I included a secret message in the middle of the video to see if people were actually watching through. And then I got an idea that people actually do like this video. And even though it is kind of boring, there's like a special, unique community of people who appreciate this stuff. And we're kind of like bonding over video games in a way. And I think that's pretty cool. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game complete edition. I really dislike when they like have the word complete edition or, oh no, we did it. I made a mistake. I accidentally clicked a button I shouldn't have. Or like in Doom's case, it says battle mode. I hate when games do that. It's like my biggest pet peeve. It almost bothers me as much as achievements that end in like 3 Gamerscore. But Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. This is the first time I'd play this game. Ubisoft made a remastered collection that I think came out in January 2021. And I think I played it for around 15 hours. You have to beat the game like 10 different times, but the game only lasts like an hour each time. So it is a quick game to like beat once, but you got to beat it with every character. You have to beat it online. You have to beat it on hard. You have to speedrun it. And by the time you're done, it is very rewarding, but I was sick of the game by the time I was done. Crash Bandicoot 4, 700 out of 1,000. I recently went back and just mopped up a couple of achievements that I was missing for like completing the timelines and whatnot. Crash Bandicoot 4 was a great game, but I talked about it a lot in my last video, so I'm not going to bore you. Unfortunately, I think Crash Bandicoot 4 sold very, very poorly and was financially a disaster for Activision. They have more problems on their hands now than just Crash Bandicoot 4. But yeah, I don't know. I think they might not be reviving some old IPs from their catalog. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I played a bunch of Warzone. I think I was somewhat addicted to it in like November, probably like December and January of like last year and this year. But I haven't really went back in a long time, and I think I just uninstalled the game, so I probably won't install the 250 gigs required to play it again. Forza Horizon 4, 450 out of 3610. Can't even pronounce those numbers correctly. I don't even know what I'm missing anymore. I think they added more DLC They added the Super 7 DLC, and then I also went back and grabbed this achievement randomly. I'm missing 6 achievements, which I probably won't go back for. They're the achievements that require you to play like every day for like a couple weeks, and I always end up like missing a day, and then I just regret ever playing it. Now, this game I'm actually pretty proud of. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Series X 1000 out of 1000. In my last video, I specifically said that I don't think I'll beat this game. I ended up streaming myself beating it on Veteran, which was the last achievement I needed. But this achievement is 0.13% of gamers, and this was the achievement I thought I would never get. However, there is a very dedicated community of Dead Ops Arcade players, and they have a Discord channel, and I went to that Discord and I asked if someone could help me. They have a whole section for that. You don't just go in and ask. They have like a need help boosting chat in there, and I asked, and someone was kind enough to basically carry me through this. I feel like I helped at least a little bit, but I got that achievement, and once I got that achievement, all the other ones aren't too bad. I have like 120 hours, but realistically the game takes like 60 to 80 hours to beat, and there is a decent fair amount of skill as well. Sea of Solitude, I've had this game done for a long time, but I loaded it up in order to see if I wanted to make a full game walkthrough. When EA got added to Game Pass, I ended up deciding against it. Now, this is a unique game. I never ended up making a full video on YouTube about it, but I did stream it, and I tweeted about it a lot. But back in 2006, yes, 15 years ago, over half my life ago, I started King Kong, and I got 8 out of the 9 achievements in this game, and then I sold it and never saw it again. But I decided that in 2021, I wanted to complete some games that were in my backlog. And funny enough, I found this game being sold on like an online ad for $10. This game actually costs around $100 if you were to find a good condition copy from someone who actually knows what they're selling. So if you have a copy of this game, it might be worth $100 if you put it on eBay. But I found it for $10 and decided to have a great time streaming it. I streamed it for about 5 hours. We played through the whole game in one sitting. And 15 years, so we have 2006, February 2022. 15 years in 2021, February 22nd, I beat the game. And there's a game off my backlog I never thought I would have off my backlog. And another really cool thing we did over on Twitter is I made a little card. I put my name on the card and put it inside of the disc case. And basically that disc is getting shipped around the world for free, like basically for whatever you pay for shipping. But the game itself is free. But I'm just shipping it in the Gamerscore community. Everyone's kind of, it's going from person to person. I've kind of lost track of it a little bit, but we've shipped this disc, and I think about 7 or 8 people have now had this game, the same physical copy that I had, and every person is adding their name to the list when they beat it and then sending it to the next person. So that's a really cool community aspect that this game brought over on Twitter, which I was a big fan of. Hitman 3, one of the best games of 2021 in my opinion so far. 775 out of 1540. I could have another like 300 or 400 gamer score if I had just synced my Hitman 2 save with my Hitman 3 save, but then I would have lost all my Hitman 3 progress because it's a really long and complicated story. But the game has 1,000 gamer score, and then 540 gamer score is basically content from Hitman 1 and Hitman 2. You can auto sync your save to unlock the achievements, but if I did that, I would lose my progress. So I never did it, but I might do it in the future. We'll see. I'm going to go back to this game and hopefully complete it for 1,000 or to 1,000 though. Read 2, oh boy, we're in early January. So in January, I got 50 or 60,000 gamer score in 1 month of January. And these are all the January games I played. So we're about to go through like 50 games very quickly because all of them I have forgotten about and all of them are really not worth talking about. I will try my best to remember everything about these games. But I think these next like 5 or 6 games I did on stream. So Read 2, I think it takes like 40 minutes. How to Take Off Your Mask Remastered. It's Read 2, by the way, it's like a side-scrolling platforming game, and I don't think it's that bad. From what I remember, it's not like the worst game on the list. How to Take Off Your Mask Remastered is a visual novel. I think it takes around 25 minutes. Project Starship X is a shoot 'em up, like a top-down shoot 'em up game. It's very similar to all the other games that are made by this publisher. I think they made a game called Red Death. They made a game called Campus Task Force. I don't know what part of my memory I just pulled that out of, but they're basically all the same game with slightly different visual themes, and you can get 1,000 in all of them in about 40 minutes each. Balance Lot. This game took me under 10 minutes, but it has some difficult controls, so it might be difficult for you. Butterfly, one of the worst games I will ever play on the Xbox, at least I hope, because if there's games that are worse than this, then Xbox might be doomed after all. 1,000 Gamerscore. There are 3,000 achievement points available now, and I think there will be 5,000 available in the future. I'm just going to wait until they update them all, and then maybe I'll play them then, or maybe I just don't care enough to go back and play Butterfly. We'll see. Hashtag Sanuka Attack, another 10-minute completion, where it's like a platforming, action platforming game. Loot Hero DX, it's a side-scrolling Clicker Heroes style game. It's pretty unique and very different, but it's not great either. I just realized we're actually in February still. We're not in January. Yeah, we're in February. Little Nightmares 2. What a phenomenal game. I really wish more people played it, because I have this weird feeling that not a lot of people played it, but it is a fantastic game. I think it's a little expensive, and you will need to like complete the game, pick up all the collectibles along the way, but there is no crazy difficulty or like skill-based achievement. It's all just like pick things up as you go and beat the game, and you can beat the game in like 5 hours or less. I have videos for everything if you want, but I highly recommend Little Nightmares 2. I didn't think it got the attention that it deserved, at least in my opinion. Vera Blanc, Ghost in the Castle, 1,000 out of 1,000. It's like a visual novel style game. I think it takes 15 minutes. The Medium, I think now we're in January. Perfect. So The Medium was a highly touted Series X exclusive game. Let me take a sip of water. The Medium was like a Series X big blockbuster, whatever. It wasn't that great. It was fine. It'll last you about 5 or 6 hours. You'll need to grab all the collectibles along the way, and if you miss one, you have to replay the entire game. It's fine. It did some unique things, but overall, this game's like a very typical 6.5 out of 10 for me. Play it if you're bored and if you really like the idea and themes of the game. But if you don't feel like playing it or it's not your style of game, you really aren't missing out on much. Tamiku, don't remember anything. I think this is a 15-minute completion. I think you like pop balloons or something. I don't know. Dark Sauce, 2D platformer, maybe 20 minutes. More Dark, 2D platformer, maybe 20 minutes. Signal, it's a puzzle game, which apparently has 3,000 Gamerscore now, which is very easy if you follow a guide. You just have to complete a couple puzzles. BFF or Die. This game takes 20 minutes. Lord of the Click, I think this game takes approximately 1 hour. Johnny Rocket, this game takes, I think, like about half an hour, but there is a little bit of skill involved. Catch, I literally don't remember a thing about this game. 50 Years has 4,000. There's going to be a lot of 3,000 out of 4,000s coming up. 50 Years was a really cool idea for a game. I actually kind of like it. The achievements are purposely designed to be really, really easy in order to sell more copies so that, you know, people buy it. But the game itself is not awful in my opinion. and you can apparently get 4,000 Gamerscore in it now. Dark Grim Mariopolis, point-and-click adventure game, and it's not good. Explorer of Night, it's a 2D platforming game, and guess what? It's not good either. Smart Moves, guess what? It's not good either. It's a 2D, I don't even know, it's a 2D adventure game with puzzles. I skipped Pixel Gladiator because I don't really have much to say about it. I don't think it's easy Gamerscore anymore, by the way, because some of these games were updated to have easy achievements, and then they were forced by Xbox because they break the rules when they do these. They changed the achievements in the original 1000, and they had to change them back. So I think this one's actually not easy anymore. Castle of No Escape, truly not worth anyone's time or money, but it is easy Gamerscore if that's your thing. It's not a good game, in my opinion. Castle of No Escape, in my opinion, also not a good game. Do you guys see a little bit of a trend? Again, this is my opinion, and I am entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to your own opinion, but like all these games are made by the same developer from 50 years like down to Castle of No Escape, and they are all not good games. They are all truly bottom of the barrel experiences from front to back. And all of them are just designed to have easy achievements in order to make more money for the one guy who publishes them. So congrats to that guy for milking the achievement community. You're a hell of a guy. Starbound, 1,000 out of 1,051 Gamerscore, 51 achievements rather. This is a PC game where you can use cheats to get the achievements easily. However, if you were to do this legit, it would take you a very long time. Aborigines, 2D side-scrolling platformer, not great. 2,000 Gamerscore available there. Golf Zero, one of the better like easy Gamerscore games I've played. I think it takes around 40 minutes. It's a side-scrolling action platformer where you like you're a golf ball and you have to like shoot yourself across the map, kind of. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but I had a really fun time with this game, surprisingly. Prehistoric Dude. Don't remember really anything about this game, but I think it's like a 40-minute completion. Swordbreaker the Game is a visual novel game where you choose dialogue options in order to complete it. I think you have to beat the game like 11 times, but beating the game only takes like 2 or 3 minutes. So I think the whole game takes around 30 minutes. Mushroom Savior and Mushroom Quest. You play as a mushroom going around picking up like items and trying to figure out like it's like a dungeon crawler style game, I guess. There are no enemies. It's all puzzle based. Not fantastic. There are probably 100 better puzzle games than these two, but these two are the easiest for Gamerscore, and that's why I played them in January. Like I said, January, I just went all out, balls to the wall to try to get as much Gamerscore as I could. And in like 2 or 3 weeks, I got 50 or 60,000. So that's why all these games are kind of bundled together. Nicole visual novel. This game costs $20, so I don't recommend it, but it is easy Gamerscore, clocking in around 20 to 30 minutes. One Word by Pog or Poggy. I don't know which one. I guess it's Poggy. Poggy is a publisher or developer who has recently been releasing a bunch of kind of like Sudoku and word search and that type of game. And some of them are actually pretty good. One Word, it's just a word search game. I think they have Sudoku. I think they have a couple of other like word association games, crossword puzzles, stuff like that. And just by virtue of the fact that you can look up all the answers, all the completions are pretty quick, ranging from 30 minutes to 1 hour. But if you were to play these games naturally, they would take 3, 4, maybe 5 hours. Feather, this is a 3D relaxing game where you just pilot like an eagle that flies through the sky, and you can get 1,000 Gamerscore in like 15 minutes. Veriblanc Full Moon, 15-minute completion, visual novel. Autumn's Journey, visual novel. I think it takes like 5 minutes or less. PUBG Battlegrounds. So PUBG, you've probably heard me talk about this game a couple times already if you have followed the Looking At Videos series. But I have almost 1,000 hours in this game, and that's a legit amount of time, not me just like, when 4,000 kills. So I've played around 900 hours-ish. I completed this game a long, long time ago, but I did recently go back to it in order to test out a new map. And I played for a couple hours with a buddy, but, you know, didn't get re-hooked or re-addicted to it. There's a couple of games that I thought I would always be addicted to, like PUBG. I thought was going to be one of them, but PUBG in the year of games like Apex and Warzone, it's just not it. You know what I mean? Gears 5, most recently played it in December because the Hive Busters DLC came out. I thought the DLC was great. It was just the correct amount of time, and there was a couple collectibles to get, so I made a video for that. And then I moved on, and I just did the Hive Busters DLC. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have Cyberpunk 2077. I have one achievement. Some people love this game. Some people hate it. Personally, I played for like, I think 30 minutes and encountered like 3 significant bugs and glitches in the game. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to wait until they first fix the glitches. And second, I'm going to wait until it's updated for Xbox Series X. And then I'm going to give it a fair try so that I don't absolutely hate my time with all the bugs and glitches. There was also a glitch that was like erasing people's save data, which I was like definitely did not want to be a part of. So Cyberpunk 2077, I'm going to play it when they fix it and when they update it. There we go. Rec Room, 8 out of 10, 700 out of 1,000. And this game, you can get 800 games. It's a free game. It's basically like a VR chat room type game, but they did bring it to Xbox, and you can just go in and like meet people, talk to people, design rooms, design like game modes and stuff. But it's just like a social interaction game. And you can download it for free and get 700 Gamerscore in like 10 minutes or less. I have a video up if you want. But these other 2 achievements for reaching level 30 and level 50 just take like literally forever. Unless there's a new method, but they take like hundreds of hours. Immortals Phoenix Rising came out in December of 2020. I think I played this game for about 10 or 12 hours. It says 23, but I don't think that's correct. I must have just left the game running in the background of while I was doing other things. I did really want to play a lot more of this game, but I ended up having to move on. I think in December, when this game came out, it came out on the same day I had surgery on my finger. And I think it was like my left thumb, so I wasn't supposed to really play like video games for a bit. Don't worry, nothing, you know, it's not a big deal, but anyways, I did need a couple of days to heal. So I think what happened was I ended up deciding to just not play video games for a couple days. And then by the time I came back, I felt like I didn't even remember where I was. And I felt like Gears was right around the corner. So I was just going to play the Hive Busters DLC. So I never ended up going back to this game, but I really enjoyed it. And I wish I had played more of it. Last but not least, we have Pathologic 2. 1,000 out of 1,000. Now, this is no longer true. What I'm about to say is not the truth anymore. But back in December of 2020, this game was on Game Pass and was available on PC, and you were able to get 1,000 Gamerscore in literally like 3 minutes. However, I think they patched it. I'm not sure. You can check True Achievements or the comments under my video. But they also, I believe, took it out of Game Pass. But you could basically enter like a cheat code at the main menu and get 1,000 out of 1,000 in literally seconds. And I did that because I wanted to make a video about it. And apparently I played it for 6 minutes. So this is another game where you could kind of quickly beat it on PC. And that was actually the first game I played after reaching 700,000, because the game under this is Battletoads, which, if you remember, I used Battletoads and I used the achievement, Did You Use a Walkthrough? Which I thought was pretty fitting. I used this achievement to reach 700,000. So everything under this is from older videos. If you're interested in any of these games, you should check out the other parts of the series. And with that, we are basically done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to check out the first 12 parts if you want. this series has kind of changed and evolved as we've made it. So some of the earlier parts from like 10 years ago are filmed a little bit in a different style than the one this one is filmed at. But you can take a trip down memory lane with me and watch the old ones if you want. I'm going to go off and play a little bit of 12 minutes now to make a video for you guys. But don't forget to drop a like, share the video with a friend. A super special thank you to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Shout out to Zarias and Puffy Vins, and hopefully I see you soon. Peace.